Hello and welcome to today's episode of Dream Business, Dream Life. Today we're diving into something that most business owners avoid like the plague, but it might well just be the one thing standing between you and your next level of growth. We're talking about auditing your business, looking under the hood, getting really honest about what's working, what's not, and what's quietly costing you way more money than you realize, what's quietly costing you way more time than you realize. Now, before you roll your eyes and think that sounds really boring and complicated, stick with me because this conversation isn't about spreadsheets and red pens. It's about coming home to your business. It's about reconnecting with your vision, your energy, and your freedom. So let me start by taking you back for a second. Now, a few years ago, I built what many people would call a successful business. Multiple six, then seven figures. A team, customers, product launches, bespoke products, big brands begging us to stock their stuff. All the shiny things. But behind the scenes, I was exhausted. I was so busy doing that I never stopped to look at whether all that doing was actually still serving me or even making sense anymore. I was paying for tools I didn't use, selling products at a loss, managing systems that no longer fitted the business, and saying yes to things that pulled me further and further away from why I started that business in the first place. Hello, retail store. Now, eventually, it all caught up with me. I realised I'd built a business that looked incredible on the outside, but didn't feel good on the inside. So I walked away and started again. This time with intention, alignment, and a deep commitment to help others build businesses that feel as good as they look. And that's why I want to talk to you about doing your own business audit before you hit that point of burnout or complete disconnection like I had. Because as we grow, our businesses accumulate clutter, old offers, old ideas, old systems, old identities. It's like, I don't know, a digital attic full of things that once served us, but now just take up space. Now, if you've ever moved out of a house that you've lived in for years, you'll totally get this. I've been there too. Now, a business audit is going to help you to clear that attic out. So it's not about tearing things down, it's about realigning, about making sure that every part of your business still supports the version of you that you are now, not the version you were 3, 5, or even 10 years ago. Because if you're evolving, and you are evolving, your business needs to evolve with you. And let's be honest, most people don't do this kind of audit. And I get it. We're afraid of what we're going to find. We don't want to face the tools we're wasting money on, the offers that don't convert, the clients that are draining us. Or maybe we just tell ourselves we're too busy. I'll do it later when things calm down. But the reality is things never magically calm down. You have to create that pause. You have to make the space to reflect. Because clarity doesn't come from doing more, it comes from stepping back long enough to actually see what's happening. So, where do you start? Now, I like to break the audit down into 7 areas. So, I'm going to walk you through those 7 areas. So, we're going to start with your vision and ideal client. You know how sometimes you look back at old photos and think, wow, I've changed. Can't believe I actually used to wear that outfit. Now, most of us never stop long enough to actually notice that shift happening. When did your fashion change? When did your hairstyle change? We just keep running with old goals, old audiences, and old offers that no longer fit us. We just keep doing what we need to do. So, what I want you to think about here is asking yourself, who am I really here to help right now? What problems do these people have today? Not what problems you thought they had 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or even more. Does my business model support the lifestyle I actually want now? You grow, your dream grows. Does your business model support that? An audit is less about adding new things and more about releasing the things that belong to an older version of you. And this has to start with your vision. So that's your vision and your ideal client. Then there's your messaging and your brand. Now, messaging is often the first thing that goes out of sync when we grow. We change, but our words stay the same. We keep saying what we've always said, but it's no longer going to land with your ideal client because it's not who you are now. Your messaging needs to feel like the truth. It needs to roll off your tongue effortlessly. So if you're finding yourself second guessing about what to post, overthinking captions, or feeling disconnected with your own content, then that's a sign it's time to recalibrate. So I want you to ask yourself questions like, is my messaging still in alignment with what I believe and teach? Does it sound like me? Or is it more like a version of me that's trying too hard? If my dream client landed on my page today, would they feel seen? Because that's what your messaging needs to do. So sometimes clarity doesn't come from strategy, it comes from honesty. So you need to be honest when you're looking at this messaging. Does it still serve you? Next up, there's your offers and your pricing. This is a big one because when we start out, we tend to say yes to everything, every request, every idea, every offer. But over time, that can leave us with a patchwork business, a bunch of offers that don't actually connect together, or a bunch of offers that actually drain your energy. So in your audit, I want you to look at every single offer that you've got and ask yourself, does this still light me up? Does it get results for your clients? Is it profitable? And when I talk about profit here, I'm talking about financially profitable and energetically profitable. Would I create this offer again if I was starting from scratch today? Now, if the answer to any of those questions is no, that doesn't mean you've failed. It just means you've outgrown that offer and it's time to come up with something different. And with pricing, I don't want you just to look at numbers. I want you to look at alignment too. Do your prices match the transformation you deliver and the lifestyle you want? Because you can't build a sustainable business on resentment or undercharging. Simplification is a growth strategy, and quite often you need to simplify your offers if you want to grow. So that's your offers and your pricing. Then there's your marketing and your funnels, all of the stuff that sits around that. And this is where we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the data. I know data's not always sexy, but it's where truth lives. The magic is it within the data. We spend so much time trying new things that we forget to check whether the ones that we've got are still performing. This is about checking what you've got, and the data is going to tell you what's performing and what's not. So in this bit, you need to ask yourself questions like, where are most of my clients or leads actually coming from? Not where you think they're coming from, where are they actually coming from? Which platforms or content types are converting best? What's giving me the biggest return financially and emotionally? If you hate doing reels, but they bring in 80% of your clients, maybe it's time to start reframing that. If you love podcasting, but it's not bringing you in any leads, maybe you need a tweak in your strategy. A marketing audit isn't just about what's working, it's about what feels sustainable. Because marketing that burns you out isn't actually working in the long run. Next up, we have your processes and your systems. Now, this is where a lot of the freedom hides. When I did my first full audit, I realized I was spending hours every week doing things that a simple automation could have handled for me. And I was paying for 5 different tools that basically did the same job. So this bit is about looking for the leaks in time, energy, and money. So ask yourself questions like, where am I repeating myself? Because they're the sort of things that can be automated. What could be automated or delegated? What systems feel clunky, outdated, or overcomplicated? A well-oiled process isn't about being corporate. It's about creating simplicity. It's about creating consistency. And when your back end runs smoothly, your front end and your nervous system for that matter can breathe. So this is about finding systems that are going to make your life easier. And that's why this is where the freedom is hiding. Next up, team and support. Now, if you've got a team, a freelance VA or a contractor of any sort, this one is essential. Now, I used to think that leadership meant doing it all myself and just outsourcing tasks. But real leadership is about trust and alignment. So you need to be asking yourself questions like, does everyone in my team understand the visions and values? Are we all moving in the right direction? Are we all aligned? Is each person doing work that plays to their strengths? Or are you trying to force people to do something that just isn't working? Am I communicating clearly or expecting my team just to read my mind? Is there gaps in my business that need filling? A new job opportunity maybe? Or are there roles that no longer make sense? So is there somebody doing a job that isn't actually adding any value to your business? And if you're a solopreneur right now, your team might just be your tools, your calendar, your boundaries. Audit those things too. This is not just physical team, this is your support mechanism. Because how you support yourself matters just as much as who supports you. And then finally, there's your finances. Money tells stories. It tells you what you value, what you avoid, and where things are out of alignment. Money doesn't have to be scary. It's just simply information. So you want to ask yourself questions like, what am I paying for that I don't use or need? What offers bring the most profit, not just the most revenue? It surprises me. No, it doesn't surprise me. How many business owners assume that the offer that is the one that brings the most revenue into the business is their most profitable? Quite often it's not. Am I setting aside money for taxes, savings, or investments? Am I building wealth for the future? Do my expenses reflect my current priorities? So are you investing in things that are helping you to get to where you want to get to right now? Or are they things that you invested in for the past or for the future and you're not there yet? When you bring clarity to your finances, you're going to stop operating from fear and start making decisions from clarity, from power. You're going to see exactly where you can tighten, simplify, or expand your business, and it's going to feel so much better. Now, I know that all sounds like a lot, but I don't want you to panic. Think of it as a gentle check-in, not a judgment. It's a way of saying to yourself that you care enough about your business and yourself to make sure it's still aligned, it's still alive, and it's still built for who you're becoming. Now, when you do this regularly, whether that's once or twice a year, it's going to keep your business fresh. You're going to stop dragging around old versions of yourself and start creating things moving forward from a point of clarity. But remember, you don't need to do it all in one go. If you've never done this before, doing it all in one go is going to be really, really overwhelming. So pick one area each week, grab your favourite drink and spend an hour just looking at your business. Ask yourself 3 simple questions under each of those 7 categories, just one of those things per week. What's working? What's not working? And what needs to change? And then you can start to make small intentional tweaks, because small, consistent improvements are going to compound into high quality, huge clarity driven changes over time. And I want you to remember, an audit isn't about finding faults. It's about creating freedom. It's about aligning your business with who you've become. It's about being realistic with where you are in comparison to where you want to be. Your business needs to feel good, meaningful, and alive. And if it doesn't right now, that's absolutely okay, because this process, this audit, is exactly why this is here. So this week, I want you to challenge yourself to pick just one area of your business to audit. Maybe it's your offers, your subscriptions, or your messaging. I want you to get curious. I want you to get honest. And I want you to allow yourself space to see what's next. Because clarity is going to create confidence. And confidence is what creates momentum. And we all know what momentum does. It's going to give you growth. And that's where your next level begins. So until next time, keep building a business that feels as good on the inside as it looks on the outside. Thank you for listening. I will see you next time.